Hi class. Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to complete assignment 1 for week 1. So right now I'm in week 1 and I just kind of want to show you what's going on here. So in week 1 we've got this, I'm going to scroll down here and we can see all of week 1 activities, and I want you to note these videos, week 1 video tutorials. Um, it's really important that you watch these videos in this section here before you attempt week 1 project. I just want to make that specifically clear because in these videos you're taught some tools that will really reinforce the expeditious learning of the pen tool itself. So that said, let's jump right over to week 1 project and we'll take a look at what we have. So in this video I'm going to be pausing the video and doing some techniques, pausing the video, showing some more techniques, pausing the video, because I don't want you to have to sit through this whole demonstration. So it's incumbent upon students to understand what is happening, what I'm referring to, and I think the best way to do that is to refer to all of the course resources before attempting to execute week 1 project. Okay, that said, let's see what we have here. So we have basically what we're going to do is we have these two characters, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to place these into Illustrator and we're going to draw them with the pen tool. So you might be asking yourself at this point, why do we start with the pen tool? And the reason we start with the pen tool is because the pen tool is the basic foundational cornerstone in all of digital illustration. There are many ways to illustrate without a pen tool, but it always comes down to fine-tuning with the pen tool, and I think you'll see what I'm saying. Line drawing is basically contour drawing is executed with the pen tool, so it's really important. Now listen guys, don't get frustrated with the pen tool, okay? It takes a while to get used to. Just do what you can, work through it, spend some time this week. As I said, the pen tool is a basic foundational cornerstone, so it's imperative that you learn how to use it. Okay, that said, let's go ahead and get started. So what do we have here? We have inside instructions. Students are going to create a row of 6 variations on 2 images. I'm going to show you how to do that, but before I'm going to do that, let's go ahead and take a look at the images and how to set up this project. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my Illustrator file. So with Illustrator, I'm just going to say File, New. And I am going to create an 8.5 by 11. So let me see what's going on here. Let's create new file. Here's our new document dialog box. And as that opens, we can anticipate that we're going to select the 8.5 by 11 or set it up right here in the document dialog box. Once we create that file is open, and here it is. Now, what we need to do here, for some reason on my new document dialog box just popped open again. I have a feeling I hit that button twice. Don't need that. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to go right to our Illustrator file. Okay, at this point I need to get these particular illustrations into Illustrator. So we'll just download those, right? I've already got those downloaded. Just right click, download them. And then what we're going to do, I've got those in my download folder. Okay, actually I don't. I moved them. So what I'm going to do is let's just go ahead and save link as, and I'll drop that right into my downloads, and then we'll go ahead and right click this guy, save link as, and we'll do the same thing. Now those are saved into my download, so I can go right over to my Illustrator document, say File, the menu across the top of the screen, File, Place. Okay, and then I'm just going to navigate out to one of the illustrations. Let's start with Gertrude. So I just select that and I'm going to say place. And once I hit place, you can see this the cursor is already loaded with the image. So I'm going to just place that image right there. Okay. Now, the one thing that's really important is we need to define this as a template layer. And that means that it's going to lock the layer in place. It's going to reduce the opacity so you can trace right over the image. Let me show you how to do that. In your layers panel, and make sure the image is selected. Just come right over here to this hamburger flyout menu here, and you're just going to say template. And as you've noticed, it gets reduced, and it puts it on its own layer, locks that layer. But you notice now our tools are not able to be used. So what we need to do is start a new layer, and that's this little new layer icon right here. We'll start a new layer, and this is the layer we're going to be tracing on. So we'll just call that our trace layer. Okay. Now we are set up here. In our trace layer, as you can see, our tools are now usable. Now at this point, I'm just going to go to my pen tool. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay, and I'm just going to start taking a look at this. Now, how do I want to do this? I know that I want color in it, and I know I want all of these little lines in here. But how can I do this? The best way to do this is to do the outline first, the entire contour line, outer lines, just the outline, okay? Forget all these interior lines for now and just establish the outline. So let's get started on how to do that. I'll go to my pen tool. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and let's just start right here. Now, I'm going to be using a combination of click and drag and then changing directions, okay? And those are both covered in those other videos. So let me just set this up. We'll start right here, okay? Start right here. I'm going to lay that point, and I'm going to drag it out a little bit in the direction I want to go, all right? I'm going to come up to my next point. Now, you can see you're getting a preview of where that path is going to go. So let's come up here. I'm going to click and drag so that path conforms to the line and also follows the direction of the line in the continuing direction. There's my next point. Now I notice that there's a fill in here, and I don't want that. We can see that some of that disappeared. So I'm going to come right over here. I'm going to go to fill, and I'm going to click no fill. Okay, so now we're where we need to be. Okay, so we're going to come over here, and we're going to do the same thing. Click and drag. Over here, we'll click and drag here. See how we changed directions? Now what you can do at this point is if you need to change directions, you can simply hold your Option key down, and that's going to allow this handle to change directions. Again, that was covered in the preliminary videos. At any rate, so let's go ahead and we'll just come down here. Okay, now I'm going to follow the contour line here, right? So we're not interested in those interior lines just yet. So I'm just going to keep on doing this. Okay, at this point, I think you can see exactly what I'm doing, right? Remember, click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. Need to change directions here. I'll hold that Option key. Actually, we don't need. We'll just go ahead and, let me Command Z that because I want to get back here. Place our point there. Hold the Option key, change directions this way. There's our next point. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and pause this video, and I'm going to go ahead and finish this contour drawing, and we'll take it from there, okay? Okay, now I want you to see I've completed the contour drawing, and right now I want to close the path. So right here's my last point. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to my first point. See that little circle right there at the lower right-hand side of the cursor? If I click that, that is now going to close the path. This is now a closed path, meaning I can assign color to this. Let me show you what I mean. So if I just come over here and I select, I'm in my selection tool. If I select the main contour line, okay, it's selected. I can see it's red. Now if I just come over here and add a color, I'm going to come to my swatches, and I'm going to make sure that my fill color is selected. I'm going to add a color, and you can see that the contour line is now established. Let's take that color away and show you how to go ahead and fill in the interior lines. Now all of these interior lines, you can see that there's some areas here that the path isn't exactly where it needs to be. So if we come over here and select that path, we can come in here to the, now I'm in the pen tool. I come down to the anchor point tool. We come right over here and we can start to manipulate this a little bit. So we can move these points. We can actually move these points around so we can make any kind of edits we need to do. So, and then you can also have you have your handles associated with each curve, so you can go ahead and fine tune and adjust. Let me zoom in here So we can see this right here. We can move some of those points around. So as you can see, it's just really a matter of fine-tuning everything as you move along. Now, as I said, what I want to do now is I want to come in here and I want to add these interior lines. So let's select off that and what we can off the main art, and then we can come in here and let me show you how to do this. So I'll come into my pen tool and we'll just come right over here and we'll add these interior lines. Okay. Now, as you can see, that's got a stroke to it and no fill, right? Now I can increase that stroke by just coming to Window, Stroke, and there's my stroke dialog box, and I can increase that stroke right there, okay? Now I also want to show you a couple of other little things. Now over here, like this line right here, let me show you what we can do here. So if I'm going to take my pen tool here, I'm going to come right to this line, and I can see that I can just go ahead and get that line. It's just a simple curve, so we could just get that line right there, okay? There's our line. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to click on my selection tool. Now what we can do is we can actually vary the width of this line. And you can see in a lot of these, there's variable width lines, right? And we're going to come right to this tool here. This is called the width tool. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to come right over here. And if we click on that and just kind of pull that out a little bit, as you can see, it's opening up on both sides. I only want it to open on one side. So I'm going to hold my Option key down and make sure I've got this right side selected. I'm going to hold my Option key down. I'm going to pull that out. And we get this beautiful tapered line. I also want you to note that, look at the ends of that line are squared off. If you go again to your stroke dialog box, I'm going to select that. And I'm just going to come over here to this rounded stroke area right here. And we can see that those are beautiful. Now, if you really want to get to a point on that, you can go back to the width tool. Okay, select that. And then take these little anchor points here and pull them in. Now you've got that nice point right there. See that? Okay, so again, I'm just going to go in. I'm going to take another second. I'm going to go in and I'm going to start filling out all of the interior lines. Then I'll show you how to color it and duplicate it. Just kind of want to jump in here and show you how I'm adding these lines. Okay, so here's my illustration so far. I'm going to turn off that template layer. So we go to our layers. And that was, remember, we called that layer 1 was our template layer. So I can turn that off. Oops, sorry about that. I can turn that off right here. And there's what we have so far. So if you want to check your work, you can just turn that off. At any rate, I wanted to show you how we're going to go ahead and we can add these interior lines. Just basically, you're just adding to the pen tool. So over here, I'm just going to start with this line. This line right here. Okay, see, I got the little pause. This line right here, I'm just going to come right over here. And there's that line, right? So we'll go over it. We'll click on the selection tool, either that or a shortcut V for the selection tool. So I hit V, and that deactivates the selection. Click off the artwork. Then I hit P or go to my pen tool to start again. Right over here, let's go ahead and get this line here. Holding my space bar to move the illustration. Okay. Now I'm going to hit V, click off the artwork, hit P for pen tool, and let's add this line. V or hit the selection tool, and that's how that's done. So let's go ahead. We'll turn off our template layer and see now we're starting to get these interior lines. Now these are the lines I've already adjusted the strokes, so you can see that's why those are different. So you'll be going in and adjusting all of those strokes. I'll go ahead and finish the line work, then I'll show you how to color it. Right, guys, my line drawing is finished, but I want to go in and I just want to kind of start making adjustments in the width of the different lines. So let's go ahead and see that one's got a nice little taper to it. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to come over here to my width tool again, right? And let's select that, and let's go ahead and make some adjustments to some of our lines here. We'll just start. And that's what I'll be doing here for the next couple seconds. So I'll check in as soon as I'm finished with the line work. I'll show you how to color it. Guys, that one, as you can see, the line drawing is now complete. I want to show you a little trick for the eyes. So the eyes, to try to draw those ovals will be kind of tough with the pen tool. So we're going to come right over here to this. Let me zoom in here so we can really see what we're doing. We go to this oval tool, right? I'm just going to come down here. I'm just going to select an oval. I can't draw an oval on an angle, but I'm just going to grab that oval and try to make it the same shape as that eye. Okay, there's my oval. If I take my cursor and just hover it over one of the corners, you can see that it turns into a two-ended circle. Arrow, and we can rotate it. So we take it like that there. That looks pretty good. Okay, yeah, that looks good. Now we'll move that over here. Now I want to show you a little trick here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that selected. I'm going to hold my Option key to duplicate it, and I'm just going to draw this down here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cursor, hold it over that corner. I'm going to hold my Shift key down to constrain the proportions, and I'm going to just reduce that. Okay, then I'm going to add white for the fill. So we'll click the fill, we'll add white. And then I'm just going to remove the stroke. Okay, then we'll take that guy. And then this guy over here, we know that that guy is right there, right? So we'll take him, we'll move him right there. And then this guy right here, we're just going to go ahead and fill him with black. There's your eye. Okay, another little trick here is if you go ahead and select that eye, both parts, okay? Now with your move tool, what I'm going to do is I'll hold my Option key down, and that's going to duplicate that. We'll take that guy right over there, drag it right there, and there's our other eye. Okay, so now I want to show you how to color your illustration. There's our illustration. Let's take this. Okay, there's our line illustration. I want to show you how to color it. So the first thing I'm going to do is we need to do the three different versions, right? We need to do a stroke only, a fill only, and a stroke and fill. So let's do this. So the first one is our stroke only, right? So that's this guy right here. Right now I've got this guy defined. All right, now what I'm going to do at this point is this, guys, is I've got my illustration complete, right? So I'm just going to select the whole thing, marquee, select the whole thing. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to resize it. Now it's important that you hold your Shift key down to constrain the proportions. Okay, now you can see that background layer is still there, so I can turn that guy off. Okay, now I've got my so when you resize, basically what you're going to be doing is this. You're going to be doing three different versions. Let me show you how to do two of them. Okay, so whoops, I missed something, as you can see. So let's go ahead. And you can also resize this by going to, hang on one sec, Object, Transform, and that's Object across the top of the menu, Transform, and you go to Scale. And then when you say Scale, you definitely want to say Scale Corners and Scale Strokes and Effects. Okay, now we'll bring that down to about 50%. Turn our preview on, and we can see. Okay, so we'll click OK, and there's our little illustration. So what we can do is this. I'll take that guy. Well, and you don't have to draw it again. What we can do is we can take this, select it. Okay, now I'm going to place my cursor over there. I'm going to hold my Option key down. That's going to duplicate it. So I hold my Option key down, I start dragging, and I hold my Shift key down also just to make sure it's on the exact same horizontal plane. And I do the same thing again. Option key, start dragging, and hold my Shift key. Okay, there's my three Gertrudes. Now I have that stroke only, a fill and a stroke, and a fill only. So stroke only, got it right. A fill and a stroke, so this one right here. We can select this guy right here. And we can come in here and add a fill. we'll click the fill color, add yellow, or whatever color you want. Okay, and then this one here is going to be, we'll select this one, and this one is going to be no stroke with just a fill. So we come in here, we add the fill color, okay, and then in the stroke color, we're going to remove the stroke color. So what we want to do in this case is we want to go ahead and group this. So we're going to select everything, Command G, okay, we'll select that guy, come over to, okay, hang on one sec. You may have noticed just before, the eyes disappeared when we colored it. So you don't want to group it. So basically what you do is you don't group it, and you just select this with your selection tool. Let me show you what I mean. If I select this right now, I can remove that color, right? So you don't group it. You just go ahead and select it, and then just add your color. Now, this guy is the one you want to group. So this guy, we're going to marquee select that guy. We're going to say object group. Okay, so that's grouped together. Now when we select that guy, we can just come over here, make sure that the stroke is forward, hit no stroke here, and then we have this guy here. Now, this is just a silhouette, so we've got our fill only, right? So what we can do here is you can just come right up here and go to your selection tool, and you can just remove the eyes. And there you have it. Okay, so there's what we have. We've got our kangaroo line drawing, stroke only. We got stroke and fill, and then we've got the fill only. Okay, sorry guys, 22 minutes on this. Again, if you have to go back and really work these techniques, guys. It's the only way to do this. Now, don't get frustrated with the pen tool. Just keep on working with it. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. Thank you very much.